This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
This multicultural communication essay explores the role of cross-cultural understanding in our daily lives. Effective cross-cultural communication plays a significant role in the daily life of every person since it fuels or retards conflicts. As much as every person is endowed with natural communication skills, some people communicate more effectively than others. Interpersonal communication is affected when there is the transfer of information and thoughts from one person to another, in which a sender passes on an idea to the receiver. When an organization comprises people of different races, ethnic backgrounds, genders, or religious affiliations, these aspects usually pervade most contemporary conversations. That is why skills in verbal and nonverbal communication are crucial for efficient cross-cultural communication to take place. Intercultural communication refers to the communication process in which people from different cultures try to understand what others from different cultures try to communicate and what messages mean. However, it is essential to note that barriers to effective intercultural communication usually arise from cultural differences among the communicators. To begin with, differences in verbal signals can lead to communication breakdown. These arise due to cultural differences in language use, which makes communicators miss one another with the meaning of their words. For example, what is referred to as chips in England is French fries in the United States. In this instance, a United States American and a British can bypass one another when communicating. This can occur if any of them assume that meanings are hidden in words, whereas, in fact, meanings are hidden in people. This implies that in intercultural communication, both the sender as well as the recipient ought to have the same meanings for the words per se. Intercultural communication is impaired because of differences in the perception of nonverbal signals among cultures. The significance of communication through various forms of wordless messages is usually multiplied across different cultures. This is because people usually try to find nonverbal cues when verbal messages are unclear in meaning. This is more evident across cultures, mainly when communicators use different languages. Understanding nonverbal signals is based on how a particular culture defines its importance. It is said that low-context cultures, for example, the United States and Canada, tend to place less importance on nonverbal communication. On the other hand, high-context cultures, for example, Japan and Colombia, give relatively more emphasis to it than on the literal meanings of the words themselves. It is important to note that some aspects of nonverbal communication, such as emotions of happiness, worry, surprise, or hatred, are expressed in similar ways across cultures. However, some emotions have different meanings in various cultural settings. For example, the Chinese or the Japanese have different meanings of facial expressions from the rest of the world. Therefore, when engaging in intercultural communication, one is obliged to take into consideration these differences to avoid disagreements or escalate existing disagreements. Another variable in cross-cultural communication entails interaction style with others, which ultimately shapes the communication style of the communicators. In most cultures worldwide, social bonds are essential for success in communication. Communication style varies across cultures in the world since it relies on how direct individuals are and the ways they express meanings in words. As an example, in Euro-America, individuals tend to rely on physical evidence. However, this is often discounted in Chinese and African settings. Time is considered one of the important variables that distinguishes various cultures in the world. In the West, time is logical and sequential and reflects the march of progress since people are time-dependent. In this time setting, interruptions are not allowed, and the expression "time is money" is commonly heard. On the other hand, in the East, time has unlimited continuity, and individuals may attend to many things simultaneously. Differences over time are an important consideration during intercultural communication. This is especially important during negotiations or conflict resolution processes. Face and face saving are also crucial elements in cross-cultural communication, though their dynamics play out differently. LeBaron says that face includes ideas of status, power, courtesy, insider and outsider relations, humor and respect. In most cultural settings, maintaining culture is significant since every person has a concept of face, which influences his or her behavior and actions. During interpersonal communication, individuals who belong to low-context individualist cultures are usually bothered with preserving their own self-image, whereas individuals of high-context collectivist cultures are bothered with the other faces. Cultural stereotypes, misconceptions about people, can impair efficient intercultural conversation. Individuals often stereotype others when they do not have adequate information about them. This makes them develop quick generalizations since they cannot get all the essential information necessary before arriving at fair judgments concerning new individuals or circumstances. As much as there might be positive influences of stereotyping, its negative influences are more far-reaching. Negative stereotyping in intercultural communication can lead to profound misunderstanding, distrust, enhanced prejudice, and limited understanding of one another. Therefore, being conversant with other cultures can significantly lower negative stereotyping. A major barrier to effective cross-cultural communication relates to the differences in the frame of reference of the communicators. All things that are taking place around a person are being inferred in his or her own frame of reference. This implies that every person's unique frame of reference is due to a complex blend of education, culture, aspirations, and personal attributes. Therefore, every person brings his or her own biases when engaging in intercultural communication. For individuals of different cultural backgrounds, they may see a particular situation from different angles. For that reason, people are usually advised to take note of other people's frames of reference when engaging in cross-cultural communication. To this end, it is imperative that for efficient intercultural communication to take place, the difficulties discussed above must be managed well. Effective intercultural communication leads to satisfying interpersonal relationships, strengthening friendships, and better understanding among people of various cultures. Most disagreements in businesses can be attributed to a lack of skills in intercultural communication, which is more common when the sender and the recipient are of different cultures. Flawed conversations can be accompanied by dire consequences. It can lead to the loss of profitable business opportunities, and a good intention can be frustrated. Therefore, the ingredient for building satisfying interpersonal relationships that are good for business rests on maintaining effective intercultural communication, especially when dealing with overseas firms or customers. For successful intercultural communication to take place, individuals are obliged to address issues and problems related to verbal and nonverbal communication that can exist between them. If you want to find more works like this essay on principles of effective cross-cultural communication, head over to ivypanda.com. It has a collection of free samples with thousands of submissions covering virtually all academic subjects. No registration required to access it.